Yesterday we launched our show title changes feature in the SERP Snippet section of the SEO module. I quickly want to show you that, but in this video I also want to show you how to cleanly export some data so that you could merge that perhaps with title data. So it's important to know that this is comparison of what's in the SERP, the header that's shown in the SERP, between two dates. You can select the date up here. Date 1 is the start, date 2 is the second date. It's going to allow you to check differences between the titles, between the two dates. We're going to show you the changes, the new changes in green and the old changes in red there. Now, a lot of people want to be merging that data with title tag data. We don't actually do that in the SEO module. We do it in the optimizer module, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But I want to show you how to export all the currently stored SERPs snippets and titles for a domain. So you would go down here to SERPs Snippets on the left hand side, and there's a couple of things you need to do. First of all, make sure your data source is mobile. That's the most recent and most complete set of data we have for the domain. The date you don't need to set. But what is important, if you're exporting, and the export feature is up here on the top right, you need to slightly change the default columns. So go up here to the top right to the options menu. You'll see I'm using the SISTRIX default settings here. You can change your own settings here and use a different set of columns. So what I would recommend is to use this here. So ignore the actual SERP snippet column. Just take the title, the description, the URL, and the keyword. So that's the SERP information. That's not the information scraped from any website. That's just from the SERP. And then use that as the column settings. You'll get a cleaner column view, and you'll be able to export that as a CSV file separated with a semicolon because of European number formatting here. And that you'll be able to then merge with data from your website for the titles, and you'll merge it on the URL field. Now, if you want to use the optimizer to grab the URLs for a website, you can do that too. I'm going to do that by showing you an existing project. Let's go into, I'm just going to take a random project here, and we've crawled the website. We'll go into Insights, and then we'll go into the Onpage. On-page column here, then go to expert mode down here, URLs, and what you want to do again is to change that column setting. So I'm using a different column settings to default here. Pull out the URL, the title, and the meta description of all the URLs on the website. As you can see here, there are some missing, so that's an immediate little project for you. But what you'll do is you'll get the URL as well. You might have to take the parameters off that to do a match, and then you can match that in an external spreadsheet by exporting it as a CSV. Again, semicolon separated. So those are the two things there. Going back, just a quick summary of all the SERP snippet information we have. In the SEO module, choose any domain. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to choose a random domain here. And down on the left hand side we have SERP snippets. So this is the most recent set of data. You can change the columns. The SISTRIX default shows you, for example, when we switch to mobile data source, a summary of the snippet, and also information on what was in the SERP at the time. So it gives you a good idea of intent, search volume, competition levels, and trends as well. You can set a date. We store those, and we show by default the most recent one, and we've got the feature here, show title changes. Now if you want to actually look at changes between the actual title tag and the actual meta description compared against what's in the SERPs, we do crawl sites regularly. This is not as regular as our daily SERP data collection, but we'll take the most recent title tag for a URL that we have from you as our crawlers go through the websites, and then we'll show you the variations seen for different keywords. Now obviously Google can write heading differently for a different keyword, and of course that keyword might have different intent. So bear that in mind when you look through all the variants of your headers, your title tags, and what's being used in the SERP.